All right, let's take a look at the camera. I have a 6-inch Schmidt-Casegrain with a solar filter. The solar filter is basically just a mirror that permits maybe like a fraction of a percent of the light through. So it basically just looks like a mirror. And then I have here a connection to a Canon T6. And what I learned from last time is I need a trigger release. Well, mine broke, but I had to push the button, the whole camera jiggled. Speaking of jiggled, this is not a very good tripod, so I'm kind of taping it down at all the spots that wobble, so that way even the shutter, when the lens comes up, even that alone can cause small vibrations. And when you're zoomed in, this is a 1,000mm zoom, focal length. When you're zoomed in, just the tiniest movement is exaggerated. So I'm trying to eliminate all of that. And the settings that I have for full sun are this. I'm going to use ISO 100 and bracketing 2/3 of a stop both sides. I'm using evaluative metering, silent shutter, and to focus, all right, see those mountains in the background? I pointed the telescope at the mountains without the solar filter, of course, and I could focus on it because the sun is moving. When I try and zoom in, it's moving out of the way. So I focused on it, and then I pointed it at the sun, and the images look actually very sharp. I was surprised because I didn't think the mountains that far away would count as infinity or far enough to image the sun, but it works. So that makes focusing a whole lot easier rather than trying to focus on the sun is really difficult. There's no features, and the edge of the sun is blurred because of the heat waves and the atmosphere and stuff. So using the sun to focus for me is really hard. And there's no sunspots. We're at a solar minimum. The disk looks completely clear. Speaking of clear, look at this sky. Yay! I don't see a single cloud anywhere. Now, it is hazy in this spot, and so you can see there's just like a general haze kind of all over the place. Now, it's worse when you look through the haze long ways than up through it. I imagine it's probably thin and low-lying. Nonetheless, we're going to have to image through the haze toward the sun, but that's it. I think that covers, not it. I chose just to use a setup like this to mount it rather than pointing one of the axes of the telescope toward one of the axes that the Earth rotates. If you do that, then you only have to adjust one other axis to track the sun. It's not that hard. I just got to be a little more diligent, a little more busy, but this setup is so easy to get the tripod and the camera to tilt without having the proper mount. I don't have one of those. It would be really hard. This is like a soft clay dirt. It would fall over. So this is simple. It works. I just have to be a little more on top of making sure that the camera, the camera and the lens are pointed at the sun. So, still got time. I'm going to kick back and just enjoy this view and wait to see if anyone else shows up.